Moving on to Helicobacter infections. So, Helicobacter pylori is a curved gram-negative rod that colonizes the stomach and is associated with peptic ulcer disease and gastric carcinoma. So, remember a helicopter which is pink colored, so gram-negative, okay, and it is curved, right? So, you can see, so it is a curved gram-negative rod that colonizes the stomach and is associated with peptic ulcer disease. Okay, so here you can see that the helicopter is hovering over sea. So you can see seagulls along with it. So the morphology of Helicobacter pylori is a seagull shape. Okay, so moving on to the pathogenesis, it colonizes the gastric mucosa first. So 50% of the world's population, 30% in developed and 80% in developing countries. So it colonizes the gastric mucosa, and this colonization is favored by first acid resistance. So you have HCl in the stomach, which kind of kills all the bacteria that enter the stomach, all the pathogenic organisms. So if there is acid resistance given by the urease enzyme or amidase or arginase enzymes, then there is favoring of the colonization of the gastric mucosa. This urease enzyme plays a very important role in diagnosis as well, as it is the most sensitive test, the urea breath test. So let's just talk about that later. And then you have adhesins, which favor the adhesion of the bacterium to the gastric mucosa, and then resistance to oxidative stress, because obviously any acidic chemical reaction is a kind of a redox reaction. So there is oxidative stress. So if it is able to resist that, then it can colonize the gastric mucosa. Moving on to the pathogenesis, so it induces certain pathological changes. So for example, in the stomach, it can kind of form a vacuolation to protect itself from the acid. So vacuolating cytotoxin is VAC-A, then cytotoxin associated gene is CAG-A, then molecular mimicry, alteration in the gastric mucus, so as to reduce its protective ability, host factors and environmental risk factors. So what are the clinical manifestations? Obviously, it is invading the gastric mucosa. There will be inflammation to some extent, so gastritis. So it could be acute gastritis or chronic atrophic gastritis or autoimmune gastritis, or because there is a reduction in the stomach acid. Okay, so there is pernicious anemia because HCl and intrinsic factor are both secreted together. If there is a decrease, so then there is pernicious anemia. It obviously causes peptic ulcer disease, obvious common sense, and also malt lymphomas. Okay, so protective role, it also has a protective role because of the reduction of acid content or H. pylori induced hypochlorhydria. So it has this inverse relation with the occurrence of gastroesophageal reflux disease. So why does GERD occur? Because of excessive insults by acid at the lower esophageal sphincter. So if there is less acid, then there is a decrease in the occurrence of GERD and also Barrett's esophagus, and then adenocarcinoma of the esophagus and allergic disorders including asthma. Moving on to lab diagnosis, so you can use endoscopy guided multiple biopsies. Endoscopy to check the ulcers with the endoscope in the antrum and the body of the stomach. You can do histopathology with Warthin's starry silver staining, immunostaining, to improve the sensitivity. And then you can use microbiological methods such as gram staining. So you can see curved gram-negative bacilli with seagull-shaped morphology. So you can see seagulls along with the helicopter, so Helicobacter. Okay, and also culture is the most specific but not sensitive. It is the most specific test for H. pylori. So what is it? Chocolate agar and Skyros media. So plates are incubated at 37 degrees Celsius under microaerophilic conditions. Alright, so you have something in the stomach that is being affected. So chocolate, people like chocolate, right? So chocolate agar and Skyros media. And then plates are incubated at 37 degrees Celsius under microaerophilic conditions, because in the helicopter there is less space within the helicopter, so microaerophilic. Next, you can use a sensitive test called biopsy urease test, which is a rapid and cheap test. So it detects the presence of urease activity, which confers acid resistance to the bacterium. So it detects the presence of urease activity in gastric biopsies, so biopsy urease test, by using a broth that contains urea and a pH indicator. Otherwise, you can do the most sensitive test, which is urea breath test. It is the most consistent, accurate, sensitive, quick and simple test used to monitor the treatment response. Whereas in fecal antigens, you can use a copro antigen assay, which is used to monitor treatment response. It is useful for the screening of children. Okay. So moving on to the lab diagnosis, you can use ELISA to screen before the endoscopy and also for epidemiological studies. And treatment of H. pylori infection is indicated for active or past history of peptic ulcer disease if the patient currently has active disease, and atrophic gastritis, mild lymphoma, or endoscopic resection of early gastric cancer. Moving on to the treatment of H. pylori infection, it is not recommended for asymptomatic colonizers, because why do you unnecessarily want to give drugs if the person is asymptomatic? And then it is not given as primary prophylaxis for gastric cancer. Usually multi-drug regimens are used. We'll discuss that. Monotherapy is not useful because of inadequate antibiotic delivery to the colonization area or niche. So success of the treatment depends on patient's compliance with the regimen and use of susceptible antibiotics. So what is the treatment regimen? So if you look at this figure right here, you can see a tomb. Okay, see island. On the island there is one, or Oka tomb. Okay, in Telugu is one, right? So Oka tomb. Just replace the letters so that you get OBTM. Okay, OBTM therapy. So that is how you remember. So OBTM quadruple therapy. It is omeprazole, which is a proton pump inhibitor. It reduces the acid, and also bismuth subsalicylate, tetracycline, and metronidazole. It is given for 14 days, or OCM or OCA triple therapy. Omeprazole plus clarithromycin plus metronidazole or amoxicillin for 2 weeks again, or 14 days, but only if H. pylori clarithromycin resistance is low. Next, moving on to monitoring of patients during treatment. So you perform the urea breath test after completion of the treatment regimen. If it tests positive, then repeat the treatment course with the same quadruple tomb regimen. If the urea breath test still remains positive, treatment is instituted based on the culture of endoscopy guided biopsy followed by microbial susceptibility report.